Last week ended up in a losing trade. If you follow this channel, you know that I took a trade on EURUSD, a short-term long in this pair, but I decided to get out of this trade due to the new safe haven character of the dollar. Dollar started to getting strength due to the new strike in the Middle East, between Iran and United States. So this contributes and participate to strengthen the dollar. So I decided to get out of the trade, and I even took new position on sell side. I will show you in a minute, so stay tuned. So for the upcoming week, the important news I will pay attention will be on Wednesday. We will have the inflation data in Australia. We will also have the interest rate from FOMC meeting, so the Fed. So very interesting. Next important news will be the interest rate from the United Kingdom, so the BOE, Bank of England. So this will also drop on Thursday, and I will be focused also what the Bank of Japan will do. So remember, we still have potential intervention from the BOG, so this will potentially move the yen pair. So this will be interesting. The last news that we will focus is the GDP from the Canadian economy. So GDP on Canadian dollar. So let's analyze the DXY. So on DXY monthly time frame, we are still in this bullish monthly channel. You can see. So due to the new strike in the Middle East and the safe haven character of the DXY, the dollar. So if we go, for example, on weekly, I'm still bullish, as I said, because I would just want to see the dollar continue to push or to retrace around or above the 50% mark, somewhere here in this yellow zone, which represent the premium zone. So that's why I'm still bullish long term on the dollar. If you really want to zoom in, you will see that last week I expect another touch below this level before starting to push again, but due to the tension in the Middle East, we finally see price close above this level again. So that's pretty good sign for a continuation to the upside. So let's go on daily. Daily we are still bullish also. See, this is the trend. We are bullish from this low to this high. So the trend is very bullish. So after breaking this high and closing above, yeah, there is a high chance that we could continue to target this as the next target and then another target, the imbalance in the higher time frame. Okay, let's go down to the 4 hour. On 4 hour, what do we have? We pretty much break out of this flag pattern. You can see this is the flag pattern I mentioned. So for me last week, I was expected to drop, to have another drop before realignment to the with the higher time frame trend, but we didn't get that. So as long as the tension continue to intensify, the dollar continue to strengthen. So you see, we finally broke above this high, which will represent my last line of defense in the structure. So for me, we are pretty much bullish. The dollar is pretty much bullish again. So there is no reason right now for me to short the dollar. So that's why for the next week, I will pay attention to this demand. If we retrace here, I will continue to buy the dollar. So yeah, for the next week, I'm still bullish on the dollar. All right, moving on to the Euro USD. So Euro USD on monthly time frame, as you can see, long term, I want to see the Euro USD drop because I just think that we are overbought. So that's why I want to see the next target will be this level right there on higher time frame. On weekly time frame, I'm bullish from this low to this high, so just want to see, as I said, a little bit of retracement towards the discount zone, somewhere in the 50% Fibonacci of this structure. So somewhere here, which represents also the level I mentioned in higher time frame. So this will be my next level. If I zoom in, you will see that this support, which is holding price right now, it seems like if the dollar break, if the dollar continue to, for example, if the dollar continue to push right there is a high chance that the on Euro USD we continue to move to the downside to target this next level right there. So it seems like price, instead of bouncing off of this support, it seems like we are going to see some sort of retest, break and retest, and continuation to the downside. Okay. So on daily, we can clearly see it on daily. Daily, the structure is still bearish from this high to this low. Look at this. So I was expecting some retracement towards this premium zone before continuation, but it doesn't look like we are going to target this premium zone. Because why? The dollar is still strong. The dollar is acting as a safe haven. So yeah, there is a, yeah, you can see we started to have some break and close below this low. You see, look at the structure. We started to break below, so there is a high chance that we continue the movement to the downside, considering that this white line is will be acting as a resistance and no more support. They act as a support here, and then it seems like we are going to act as a resistance. So that's what I am looking for. So let's go to the 4 hour. So on 4 hour, yeah, this is the trade I closed in a loss last week. So I will get rid of this up, and this is the new trade I place because we form a new supply zone right there. So I put some other limit here. That's pretty much the trade I will be looking for for the next week on sell side, pretty much. So you can see we pretty much break below the channel. So we break with a huge impulsion to the downside. That proves that there is a lot of seller right there. So I already enter here. I put another sell limit right there in case maybe next week we could retest this zone to finally drop again to the downside. So I will show you. Yeah, this is a trade, the instrument I trade. Let me get rid of this. Yeah, so that's it. This the trade is how the limit I put in case we retest this supply zone again, targeting this level. So this is the trade I will manage, I will monitor for the next week. So I'm still bearish on Euro USD. The next one is pound USD. So on pound USD, I'm still bullish on weekly time frame from this low to this high. So for me, I want to expect a retracement in discount zone somewhere here, but look how price is still in a range between these levels. So we range a lot right there. So this is very difficult. So the main level before seeing the pound retrace even lower is this level. We need to see a close below this level right there before continue to see the pound drop. So let's go down to the daily. On daily, I still think we are bullish. The structure is bullish. Why? Because how I'm bullish from this low to this high. We broke above and close above this level. So for me, this is a structure. We still bullish with this demand right there, which holds price many times. So there is a lot of buyer on this region. So I will not be surprised if price came back and rebounds again. So yeah, but if I zoom in, we see that we finally broke this last structure. So for me, this could be the next target somewhere here on sell side because the dollar is strong, the pound is very tricky, but the economy in United Kingdom is not doing well right now. So that's why I think that with the geopolitical tension and the safe haven character of the dollar, there is a high chance that we could continue to drop, even though the structure is bullish on higher time frame in pounds. So yeah, based on macroeconomy, I still think that we are going to drop. So let's go down to the 4 hour. On 4 hour, yeah, I mentioned this. You see how price was in premium zone, extreme premium zone. We even tap this extreme zone. So for me, look at the how price change structure. So we broke and closed below this last low. So there is a high chance that next week we could potentially retrace here or even higher somewhere here to finally continue the movement to the downside. So this will be my potential setup for the next week. So I will be bearish on pound. The next one is AUDUSD. So Aussie dollar, I'm still bullish in weekly time frame from this low to this high. So I want to see some retracement of this last weekly leg, at least towards this comes zone somewhere here. So that's why I just think that we could potentially in long term continue to drop towards this zone if the dollar continue to getting strong. But I have some problem with this pair because fundamentally Aussie is also strong during from the beginning of the year. So that's why I will not be surprised if price continue to hold here for a long period and maybe drop again. Who knows? So let's go down to the daily. On daily time frame, you see how the daily is still bullish. We are still bullish from this low to this high. So we are pretty much holding with this level right there. Okay. So what I want to see is another retouch, another test towards this demand right below here, which represents a better zone to realign again with the higher time frame. So when I say realign again, I mean after we retrace the weekly trend, we could potentially find some setup in discount zone here to target a new high. That's why I'm thinking right now. So daily time frame, let's go to the 4 hour. 4 hour time frame, it seems like we are ranging right now. So I don't have a bias right now. So I prefer to wait either we break to the upside or to the downside to take a decision right there. So yeah, the OZ, if I measure the last order flow 4 hour, you see that price is currently at premium zone somewhere here. So I will not be surprised if we start to break the low like that, and then we continue to target this level again. So yeah, right now I don't have a bias. I will wait. We break this range. Moving on to the Kiwi dollar. So on Kiwi dollar weekly time frame, I don't have a bias. As you can see, we have a range in weekly time frame, but on daily time frame, I have a trend, some sort of trend, because we broke and closed below this low. So look how we retrace in discount in premium zone, pretty much retest this supply zone right there and reject again with this week. So for me, for the next week, I think that we could potentially target lower prices, this level right there. So around this imbalance right there will be a nice target for the week, for the next week. So let's go down to the 4 hour. So on 4 hour, if the dollar continue to be strong, what I want to see is just a retest somewhere here before continuation to the downside, targeting this low right there, and eventually this demand zone right there. So yeah, I am bearish on Kiwi dollar for the next week, pretty much. Next pair is USD yen. So USD yen, I have nothing to say that the trend is very super bullish. It seems like we are approaching a new level. Let's go to the monthly. This will be this level that will be the next target. So yeah, this pair is very bullish. So the trend is bullish on daily. So what I wanted to see is to see some retracement in discount price. We didn't get that. So yeah, I think I will let this price continue because I don't want to be engaged in this level of price because I think that we are overbought. So yeah, I prefer to let the price continue at least target this level, and then maybe we will see a drop after who knows the intervention of the Bank of Japan. Remember, we will have some interest rate from the BOJ, the Bank of Japan, this upcoming week. So very pay attention at the end of the week what will happen at this region right there. But for the moment, I will stay away of this pair. But if, for example, we have another retest around this support, maybe I will target these highs because if we retrace before reaching this high, it could be interesting. But if we reach instead we reach this level without retracing this support, yeah, I think that we could potentially see a huge drop after taking this high. So right now I am staying away of this pair, as I said. The next pair is USDCAD. So USDCAD on monthly time frame, we are still bullish from this low to this high. So you can see if I zoom in, the current monthly candle is bearish. So there is a lot of seller. The seller started to enter the market after rejecting this resistance right there. You can see. So we reject. So what I want to see is continuation, a rejection at least towards this support right there. So let's see on weekly time frame. On weekly time frame, we are still bullish from this low to this highs. You see our price react one, two, twice, and the third time on this level. So pretty strong. There's a lot of buyer on this market. So and plus the fact that the USD dollar is acting as a safe haven. Yeah, there's a high chance that we could potentially continue the movement to the upside. Look how the last week closed. We closed pretty much bullish. That proves that there is a lot of buyer left last week. So, but what I want to really want to see before into this market is just a retracement of this last daily leg, at least towards this 50% level somewhere here in discount before enter again, because higher time frame we are bullish. So I will we prioritize the buy on this instrument USDCAD. So let's go down to the 4 hour. On 4 hour, you can see this demand acts perfectly. We hold perfectly the price. We reject the price to the upside, but this structure is not enough for me to decide to go long again. So I need to see at least breaking structures or the flow bullish forming before enter again on this market. So right now it seems like we are pretty much ranging right now. So yeah, I need to see some break before enter this market right now. So yeah, just I will just observe what will happen here. And right now I don't have a bias. Yes, I am bullish long term, but I need some price action to take to take a decision right there. Okay. Next one is USDCHF. So on USDCHF on weekly time frame is because the dollar is strong. I want to see the USDCHF at least retrace towards this 50% zone. So I measure the last weekly leg. So we're starting to see some retracement because price right there is oversold. So we need at some point to retrace. So that's currently what the price is doing. So on daily time frame, what do we have? You see, we have this bullish channel which is forming. You see, so for me, I want to see price continuation to test this the top of the channel right there. So, but I will very pay attention because we are currently approaching the resistance right there. So this will be very interesting how price react right there. So what I want to see is just a reaction, another retest around this zone before enter again. This will be my best scenario right there. So let's go to the 4 hour. On 4 hour, we are still bullish. So it's very bullish. So what I wanted to see is just a retracement because we have the demand right there we never test. So let's see how price will do. But we still have this pointer control from the last month, which is this gray zone where I really want to see price retest before buying again. So this is the only thing I am seeing right now. So yeah, definitely not want to buy here because we have some resistance and we are overbought. So well, just want to wait price in lower prices before buying again. So let's finish with the precious metals. So on gold, daily time frame, we are still bearish right there. So what I want to see is some retracement towards this premium zone somewhere here before a continuation. Yes, long term, I'm still bearish on gold, on precious metal in general, gold and silver. Why? Because we still have some concern about inflation, about what's happening is in the Middle East. We know that we have a recent strike in the Middle East, so this participate to have a new rise of oil. Let me show you. You see, price started to rise again, which is not good for economy and which push a lot of central banks to hike or hold or maintain a hike rates. So this is not good for precious metals. So that's why long term right now continue to be bearish because there's a lot of there could be a lot of seller on this market because of these concerns. Okay, so otherwise price is currently at a support level where we could potentially see some rebounds before dropping again, or we could potentially simply see a new break to the downside, and then a continuation towards this discount level. Okay, so yeah, let's go down to the 4 hour. 4 hour, as I said, I'm still bearish long term on gold because of the macro economy data. And you can see on this last 4 hour leg we retrace one time, second time on premium zone. So for me, yeah, we are in range right now. So for me to be able to enter this trade, I need to see either a break to the downside and then I will be short again, or a new rejection of the highs and then I will short again, or even here will be interesting. So somewhere here we'll be getting the trade again. Okay, so long term I'm still bearish because it seems like we are not going to see lower rates from any central bank. So yeah, that's why I'm still bearish on long term in gold. Let's finish with silver. Silver is pretty much the same as gold. Long term I'm still bearish. You can see this is a structure on daily time frame, so maybe expect some rebounds towards this yearly open, this blue line which represents the yearly open, and then the continuation. But I really want to very pay attention to this level. We are much closer than the gold to this demand zone. So if I zoom in to let you see clearly, you can see we barely touch this demand zone right there. So I will not be surprised if we continue to drop again to target directly this demand zone, and then maybe who knows, in the future we could see a pretty huge rebounds off of this demand right there. So let's go down to the 4 hour. 4 hour, yeah, this is the last structure on 4 hour. You see how we retrace perfectly in premium zone. So I will not be surprised if, for example, we started to form a bearish order flow to target this level. Yeah. So if not, I will pretty much wait price. We have some surprise zone here in premium, which could potentially push the price again to the downside. So you always know, you already know that I am short on precious metal, silver and gold. So that's it. This is the end of the video. If you like it, put a like, subscribe. This will help me know that you really appreciate my analysis, and be careful on the market. Have a nice weekend. Have a nice trading week. It was Josue, the part-time trader. I'm out.